Story 1. I broke my front teeth when I was around 13 years old and I am now 38. I have spent most of my life with front teeth that looked unusual. They were either broken, stained, or a completely different color. This, combined with a set of naturally marbled teeth, made my biggest insecurity very apparent. When I was 18, there was a contest at school where I won Best Smile. I have a nice smile, but my teeth did not match, so it felt contradictory. I got veneers today, achieving a full restoration of my front teeth and veneers on the rest of my top teeth to match, as my bottom teeth are rarely visible due to the way my face and mouth are structured. So far, 3 people have commented on my smile. My self-esteem is through the roof at the moment. Story 2. Intelligence was the first thing I was ever complimented on, and I have received many compliments since. Story 3. Crazy. I actually got one last night. I gave a friend a hug and he said, "Wow, your back is rock solid. You feel like a brick house." Granted, I was working out an hour before and still had the pump, but it amazed me, especially coming from a guy who is also built like a brick house. I'm going to be riding this high for a long time. Story 4. I was wearing a Cyberpunk shirt when a guy gave me a $100 bill and said he loved the game. Now it's my favorite shirt. Story 5. My hair. I have never really liked how I style my hair, but recently I embraced the hockey mullet vibe and have received what feel like genuine compliments, such as, "Dude, best haircut you've ever had," from both my male and female friends. Feels good. Story 6. This is surprising, but I had 2 teammates compliment me on how much I have improved my soccer game. For context, I am 50 years old and never played until I decided to learn in my mid-40s. I was just happy to finally have a chance to play. Story 7. You don't know how good it feels to be appreciated by you. I'm okay with this compliment living in my mind. Story 8. A couple of days ago, I was shopping in South Carolina when a young man commented, "Nice hat." I thanked him. Not bad for a 40-year-old West Texas felt hat. It has acquired some character. Story 9. I came across a comment on Reddit a few weeks ago. I saved it and read it sometimes when I feel down. It helps a lot. Thank you once again, stranger. Story 10. A former employee and now friend said that what she admires the most in me is my ability to pretend until I succeed in any situation. I exemplify control and exude power, all while utterly panicking and flailing on the inside. Yes, I can do that. Story 11. Today, a few people complimented my sweater that I got from a small second-hand boutique store. It made me feel good. Story 12. There's a woman I want to date, so I sent her a Valentine's meme and asked her out. We are both introverted Native Americans. She asked what I look like, so I sent her pictures of my face. She said she was pleasantly surprised and that I am quite handsome. I am aware of this, and then she sent me a selfie in return. This is certainly nicer than when teenagers call me handsome. I feel uncomfortable in those situations, but this is an adult with interesting stories to share. Story 13. I have a nice complexion and good skin. That's the only compliment I ever receive. Story 14. I spilled coffee on my business shirt during an early morning Southwest Airlines flight. I had a planned meeting to close a big deal in San Antonio, so I was dressed in a suit. Rather than taking a rideshare to my appointment, I went straight to the local Nordstrom. When I entered the men's department, a very classy attire expert assisted me in finding a replacement shirt. She picked out a shirt that was way more than I wanted to spend, but she insisted I try it on. When I came out of the dressing room, she said, "Wow, you look amazing." I am easily persuaded, so I purchased a $300 shirt. When I arrived at the meeting a few minutes late, the receptionist at the company said, "Wow, you look amazing." I was surprised. Then the lady I was meeting with entered the meeting room. We shook hands, and she asked me where I got that shirt, because she needed to get one for her husband. This has now become my favorite shirt. That was a nice day that made me feel pretty special. Story 15. My necklace. 2 weeks ago, every time somebody asked about it, I felt so giddy and proudly said I made these. Before that, it was my hair. They said I had nice hair and that I should let it grow out more. Story 16. Plasma donation. The nurse technician said I had a beautiful vein before inserting a needle into it. I'm a guy. It's a compliment, and I'll take it. Story 17. You invest so much of yourself in trying to be good and bring goodness into the world. And that is one of the reasons you are a beautiful person. It meant so much that I wrote it down when I arrived at work. Story 18. Letting my sister borrow my car so she can attend training for her new job, despite our serious falling out last year. Story 19. I was at a rave and I enjoyed singing rap songs to a techno beat. Some people next to me liked it and complimented me on the energy I brought to the party. Story 20. I feel old saying this now, but 6 years ago, during my last semester of university, a cute girl with curly hair behind the register at the convenience store told me I had very pretty eyelashes and a nice smile. Was it a hint at something? I don't know. My socially awkward self smiled and thanked her in response. It made my day, and I remember every single detail of that moment. Story 21. My hair is dyed and cut short, and now everybody asks me how I achieve this hairstyle. The answer is I don't do much. I just wash it and comb it before going out. Story 22. Mercy went for a poor result in their team. She managed to keep the teammate engaged with asleep, grenade, and panic shots. She did say thank you, though. Story 23. Shaved head. As a teenager, I always preferred having long hair, but male pattern baldness began in my early 20s. Now, at 36, I have received many compliments on it. Story 24. My oldest brother said he was proud of me for taking a chance and moving across the country for a different life. Story 25. They said they liked the colorful clothes I wear. Came from someone unexpected, so it was a double compliment. Story 26. My work felt pretty good. I am a big bald man with a beard, so I take what I can get. Story 27. I was wearing a Dr. Pepper shirt that fits me really well. It was already my favorite shirt, but then a girl at the grocery store checkout said she liked it. As someone who gets maybe 3 compliments every 10 years, it really made my week. I wore that shirt so much after that. It ended up wearing out, and a friend bought me a new one this past Christmas because she couldn't stand seeing me wear that old, worn-out one. Story 28. I know the product I sell well. Another sales representative from a different part of the country called me and asked some technical questions, which I guided him through. That made me feel good. Story 29. A customer at my hairdresser complimented my hair. I have been struggling with hair loss, so it was a real boost. Story 30. My facial hair. He saw the Instagram story that I reposted and texted me, saying he loves my beard. He always tells me that, and I really appreciate it. I'm Asian, and the people around me rarely compliment my beard. If anything, they tend to criticize it. One older man told me I look old with facial hair and that I should shave. Story 31. Oh my, this weekend a friend said I reminded her of Jessica Rabbit. Such a huge compliment. Story 32. My therapist told me that my kindness and ability to listen and care about others is amazing. Given that I am going through many changes in my life right now, that meant a great deal to me. Story 33. I like your hair. This compliment came out of nowhere at a Trader Joe's about 10 years ago. I will never forget it, and it still brightens my days when I think about it. Story 34. The conversation we had was the most enjoyable, humorous, and intelligent he has had with someone in years. We spent about 4 hours between dinner and 2 drinks at the bar next door afterward. I wonder why there aren't any gay men around with that level of chemistry. Story 35. I was interviewing for a faculty position. The committee members brought me nice food during dinner and thanked me for making the presentation easy to understand. I didn't get the position, though. Story 36. Someone mentioned how much they loved seeing the close bond between my daughters and me. It was one of the best compliments I have ever received. Story 37. My hair. I finally dyed it cotton candy pink in my 30s, and I get so excited every time I see it in the mirror. Story 38. She said I had nice feet. Strangely, this is the 4th time in 3 months I've received this compliment from a woman. I am on an extended vacation in Mexico, so I wear flip-flops and sandals and go barefoot on the beach. Edit. Simmer down, ladies, they are just 8.5 Ds. Story 39. I speak Italian somewhat and was in Rome. A waiter told me that he thought, based on my accent, that I was an Italian visiting from the south of Italy, specifically Puglia. It made my day. Story 40. Recently, someone complimented me on my perspective on life and my persistence in ensuring all my plans are accomplished. Story 41. I honestly cannot remember. I really tried, but it's something that happens so rarely that it just doesn't make sense. Story 42. I am a teacher, and someone on Facebook answered a post asking to name a teacher you will always remember with my name. Yes, he mentioned it in a positive way. That doesn't happen often for me. Story 43. My husband complimented my growth regarding things that used to stress me out. It showed that my efforts were recognized. Story 44. My hair. I had been complaining to a friend about how terrible it looked. This cheered me up a little. Story 45. Verbal skills, vocabulary, intelligence, and personality presented together in front of people was a nice gesture. Story 46. Recently, I ran a tabletop game with a new group of friends and coworkers. I noticed that people I don't know at work are now interacting with me by name. Apparently, these coworkers have been speaking positively about me to others for weeks. The host for the evening simply said, "Yeah, you're a good guy." I didn't realize this would affect me as much as it did on the drive home. Story 47. I did a good job at work today. This feedback came from a supervisor, so it felt great. I was unexpectedly placed in a challenging situation, which I didn't think was appropriate, but I managed it well. Story 48. Yesterday, I went out to eat with my toddler. I received compliments on how quiet and well-behaved she was. I responded that she is usually quite energetic. I was also impressed by her behavior. Today, she woke up with a runny nose and a fever, which may explain her calmness yesterday. Story 49. One of my colleagues said I have nice, glowing skin. To be honest, my skin looks horrible, so I have no idea why she would say that. Story 50. I work the brunch shift on weekends at a breakfast restaurant, so all of my energy goes into that. Many customers say they appreciate my energy. Story 51. I wasn't sure how to pose for my visa photograph, despite getting directions from the officer, like a bit to the left, chin down, etc. Out of habit, I asked, "Do I look okay?" He glanced into my eyes for less than a second and said, "Yes, very much." My visa photo clearly shows me not smiling but looking flushed. Story 52. My boyfriend is a big fan. He loves my eyes, my smile, my cute giggle, how soft my skin is, and how good I smell. The man is obsessed. It's kind of wild sometimes. Story 53. My tightness. Apparently, it is very rare for men over 30 to have intimacy with someone who has not been stretched by another person. So I am as tight as a teenager. As a sex worker, that makes me a significant selling point. Most of these men haven't experienced a tight vagina in 40 years, so they often express their pleasure. Story 54. I went back to class for the technical degree I'm studying. I had a makeup session before going, and when I arrived at the institution, my friend said I looked very beautiful today. Then one of the professors I'm fond of said the same, that I looked very pretty, and they could see the motivation in me to keep studying. I don't receive compliments that often, so it was very uplifting and sweet of them. Story 55. Someone at the pottery studio said they liked my pants, which made me happy because they had a loud and colorful print. I felt a little self-conscious wearing them, but I also love them. Story 56. My bones. The X-ray technician said, "You have the bones of a 20-year-old. I'm 37. It was an unexpected compliment, especially considering I had just been rear-ended and was waiting to find out if my neck was broken. Story 57. We were both on a video call. My hair was a bit messy. She had mentioned before that I used to look good with it. Then she asked during the call, "Is it my hormones? Or do you actually look that hot?" I really love her. Story 58. Not looking anything like 50. The thing is that at my age, I don't care if I get complimented or not. I recently lost a lot of weight, and it has taken years off me. I'm just happy to feel like I used to again. Story 59. I received a compliment about my long hair, which is now up to my waist. They asked me what shampoo I use, and I explained that I have dandruff issues. I recommended my current shampoo and mentioned that I wash my hair twice a week, if I have the time. They were surprised. Story 60. Last week, while in line at Dunkin', an elderly woman complimented my hat, which had a moose outline. Perked me up more than the coffee. Story 61. I was told I am reliable and that it is one of the best traits to have in a person. This made me feel good about myself. Story 62. I filter out most compliments because there are many, but a significant portion expresses appreciation for my taste in flower crowns. Story 63. My gold sandals were part of my outfit today, which included a denim jacket, a blue and white striped crop top, a gold German Shepherd necklace, and gold thumb and toe rings. Story 64. My online friend called me a handsome boy when advising me to dress warmly for tomorrow since it's going to be 10 degrees below freezing. Story 65. I had a good smile, but being a guy and receiving that compliment from two other guys felt like they were pulling my leg. I don't know what they expected me to react. I just put on my poker face and walked away as if nothing happened. Story 66. My bright blue eyes often receive compliments, which always brightens my day. Story 67. I was at the mall yesterday wearing a purple-haired wig. I received at least 3 comments on it. I wore the wig because my actual hair looks faded and unkempt. I tend to pull at my hair when stressed, so that wig really helped. Story 68. My glasses have butterfly lenses. They are an inexpensive knockoff of Gotsomwear's butterfly ornament glasses. However, Gotsomwear no longer sells them and has seemingly disappeared. Story 69. I did my nails last Sunday and have been getting a lot of compliments since then. It's the best nails I've ever had. Story 70. My Japanese teacher said I am a fast learner, even though I have been neglecting my Japanese studies for 2 years. Story 71. I've been feeling that I'm not doing well at work, and my boss told me she thinks I am a good advisor, just going through a bit of a dry patch work-wise. That really uplifted me. Story 72. Someone said I look 10 years younger than I actually am. It made me proud because, apart from family genes, it is the result of living a healthy lifestyle for over 20 years. Story 73. How sweet, polite, and funny my 6-year-old son is. It is the best and absolute favorite compliment I have ever received. My little buddy has the biggest heart in the world and such a wonderful sense of humor. Story 74. My voice. I have a deep voice and I used to sing. I am proud of it even if I am not the best singer. Story 75. I used to get my haircut every 2 weeks. I was at a shop picking up an item and mentioned that I was going for a haircut next. The woman helping me said my hair was attractive and suggested I should keep it long. Now I am on a once-a-month schedule. Story 76. A nurse made an offhand comment that I had nice skin. She didn't even qualify it with, for an older lady. I'm 74 years old, and I was pleased. I guess retinol works. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.